Hi there, welcome back to the Art of Business English. Andrew Ambrosius here for an episode broadcasting live today on the 2nd of January, I think it is today, isn't it, buddy? 2020, we've just brought in the new year. And I'm recording live from Perth, Western Australia. And I'm once again joined with my brother-in-law, Jamie. Hello, Jamie. How are you, buddy?
Good, thank you, Andrew.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you, and great to have you here in Perth.
Yeah, we've just dropped in for Christmas, and yeah, it's always great to come back to the motherland, and and to join you in this beautiful house. So we're outside. It's a lovely day in Perth, and we're going to be talking to you today about a few top tips for those of you who might be looking at doing business in Australia at some point. Now, my brother-in-law used to work for Australian Trade Office, weren't you?
Yep.
Yeah, do you want to explain that just a little bit?
Oh, the Western Australian Trade Office in London.
Yep.
So they have an office that looks at trade issues in between Europe and UK and Australia, and works on bringing Australian companies or West Australian companies into Australia and helping European and British companies coming into Western Australia.
Excellent. So Jamie's got lots of experience and knowledge on top things that you would need to know or to consider when doing business in Australia. So I'm going to basically be handing this episode over to you. So Jamie, we're going to look at the top three things.
Yep.
So what would you say is probably the top thing, or what would you like? The customs, I guess we could look at. First.
I think an important thing with any engagement with businesses from another country is looking at the customs that are associated with that country and trying to approach the people that you want to meet with or engage with appropriately, I guess. Yeah. So if you're heading to Japan, how do they structure their meetings? How do they structure their engagements, etc.? So I think customs are really important. I guess here in Australia, we're quite a relaxed country, and so I think you can take a more relaxed approach to how you engage, and I think customs are things like a handshake. If you're creating the engagement, then offering to pay for the coffee or to buy them lunch, or is also a key part of the engagement.
Okay.
I don't think we have any particular customs like perhaps you would in Japan, where you give a gift when you have a meeting or an engagement. Okay. I don't think I've not witnessed it being as formal as that.
And you can shake hands with girls and boys, doesn't matter.
Both, yeah.
Male, female. Because, for example, in Spain, it's customary for you to kiss on both cheeks a lady, but you would not really do that to a male.
No, it would definitely be a handshake here with each person, and you should go around the room and introduce yourself to each person. Yeah. Interestingly, business cards used to be a big part of the first meeting, but these days with electronic communications, that's less important. Yeah. But if it's a big meeting with lots of people, I think it can still be important because it gives them all the names of the different people. And I guess when you're cross cultures, often the names can be challenging because the pronunciation's different, etc. Yeah. So that can be a good thing to build into your first engagement. Okay. What other customs have we got over here that you need to consider?
I
think dress, what you wear to your meeting's important.
Yeah, not on this podcast though.
We're casual.
We're a bit casual today, but typically a suit, depending on like what engagement it is, or just a shirt, like with the collar.
I would have said that suit and tie these days is quite formal. Yeah. And so it depends on who you're meeting with or engaging with as to what you would do.
But trousers?
Trousers and a shirt and a jacket with no tie, or trousers and a shirt, that kind of level is fine. Yeah. And it depends what you're doing. In Australia, a big custom, I guess, is to go for coffee. So often your first engagement might be, let's meet for coffee and get to know each other and have a chat. So you might meet for half an hour and share a coffee, have a coffee and just chat about, what your company's like, what their company's like, get a bit of an understanding of what you both want to do. Yeah. And, where the relationship might go. And then out of that, you might form a plan of how you're going to engage or what information you need to share to sort of move it forward.
Okay. And that's really quite informal meeting because you're meeting at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
But if you're meeting in a more structured, I mean, we spoke about meetings when we did the podcast in Barcelona. So if people wanted to look back at that episode, I encourage you to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what other customs would you think? I mean, when we don't really. We don't really have any peculiarities, do we?
No, I mean, I think the other custom, I suppose, is having a plan and structure of what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, Australians are very like this. Get it done, get in, get out.
So if you're emailing, say, we'd love to meet in Perth and have a coffee, you might say, because we want to talk about this and this and this.
Mm-hmm.
So that sort of knowing what you want to talk about and sharing that, so there's a reason for why you're getting together.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that's important.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're not immensely customs driven in the same way that some other countries are. Yeah. But I think it's always important if you're engaging with Australia or other countries to think through: are there any customary things that you should think through before you have that meeting?
Yeah. Okay.
And it's really a respect thing for the people that you're meeting with.
Yeah. All right. So, what if you're? I mean, Australia's got lots of rules and regulations.
Yep.
I mean, some people just think that they can like pop in and just maybe set up a business or fly over. I mean, there's lots of visa considerations. There's lots of regulation considerations. What would be the main things to consider if you're like, I want to set up a business in Australia? I mean, it's not easy, is it?
No, I think you have to. I mean, it's probably similar to the EU in the standards, etc. It's got. So I think a lot of research you need to do around what are the rules and regulations for what you want to achieve, and how they, how you need to structure your approach to entry, and by understanding the steps you need to take to get all your appropriate approvals.
And if you wanted to come and work, here, I think that's something to consider as well. Many, especially Europeans, because they have this freedom of movement.
Yep.
When you tell them that they can't just come out here and work, they're like, that's a bit strange. It's not, but I should be allowed to work. You're like, no, you need to have a visa for all this type of stuff.
Yeah, and I think the Australian government has a list of occupations or jobs that, that the country is seeking particular skills in. So if you're in one of those categories,
you stand a better chance of getting a visa.
You stand a better chance of getting a visa.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have a lot of key industries as resources, like mining and oil and gas, etc. So those industries...
So highly skilled engineers.
Highly skilled jobs often.
Yeah.
And so they're the kind of areas. Education's a big one for Australia, and tourism. So there are other skills that they can be looking for, particularly.
So most people, if they want to come out here to work, they can't just arrive on a tourist visa. They need to organise their visa beforehand and go through the application process.
Yes.
It's quite strict in that regard. If you come here and you're a tourist and you try and work, you run the risk of being expelled from the country, and then you'll probably be banned from coming back for a long time.
For a few years,
Yeah, for a few years.
But, I think the interesting thing about working in Australia is it's a very multicultural society.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
So, there's a great cultural mix of people, so therefore in the workplace you come across a lot of different cultures, which is a great place to work. So I think the opportunity is great, and to come and get that experience of working with different cultures is a great thing to have on your CV. Yeah,
definitely. And it's different. It's quite different out than Europe out here, I find. I don't know, just that there's the Australian way of doing things is very like, get it done.
Yep.
Like, they love to have their barbecues and relax, but at the same time, like, serve us fast, get things done, don't mess around, don't waste time, just get onto it, in, out, done. So that's something cultural, I guess you could say.
I think our second tip around, doing business in Australia is around building relationships.
Yep.
They're very important to Australians, is to over time develop this and strengthen the relationship. And build that trust. Australians are naturally quite trusting.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
But you've got to take the time to work with, build the relationship with the company that you want to work with, or with the company you're working for.
And really be like open to like bringing things and wanting
ideas.
To do stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, because we're like, that sounds great. We're up for things.
Yep.
We're not like, wait a minute, we need to think about that.
You've got to follow the process or there's lots of process and regulation in Australia, but we're also a culture that likes new ideas.
Yeah, and wants to get things done. So if you bring this, can-do attitude to the country, you'll stand a good chance of being quite successful.
Yeah.
If you're reserved and you're very cautious, I mean, I'm not saying that we're risky people when we're out of control, but we love people who think big and have a plan and want to get things done
and that are passionate and I think there's a lot of space for emotion in the passionate emotion and initiative in the Australian workplace.
Yep, definitely. So building long-term relationships, bringing things to the table, being passionate and excited about what you're doing is really important here. And if you have that type of attitude, then you definitely stand a chance of being successful. And I also think it's quite liberating.
Yep.
I love it come here. Like suddenly things seem possible.
Yeah.
Here things are possible. Like you can get it done.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And
it's a young country.
The interesting thing about building relationships is, I've found through my career, you build relationships with people and you come across them again in different ways.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I worked in an agriculture sector and now work in the resources sector. But there's people that I come across from the agriculture sector still in my work today.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing that the strength of your relationship is important across your journey in your career.
Excellent. Yeah, I see what you mean, exactly. So these relationships, you can call back on them again in the future.
Yeah.
And there's Jamie. I've worked with him before. He's a great guy. Yeah,
and it gives you diversity of thought because you can talk to people from different sectors that help you to think about the challenges you have in your work.
Okay, excellent. And what was your last top tip for doing business or things to know for doing business in Australia?
Yeah, I think the thing about Australians is we're known as being quite casual and
laid back.
And I think that is definitely the case. But you can't take that as being lazy or unstructured or not focused.
Yeah.
It can appear a little like that, but I don't think, in my experience, it's not.
Yeah.
And so while you could go to a meeting and someone rocks up in shorts, that they might still be very serious and formal in the way that they structure what they're doing. And so the meeting might be informal, but they're very serious and focused on what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to also bring that focus and seriousness to how you are going to build your relationship.
Definitely.
It will be, in general, it will be very structured, very formal, and they'll want to follow process. And I think that that can be done seemingly a bit informal and casual.
So on the surface it might seem
casual.
Like this. People make you feel comfortable because they're easygoing and laid back, but at the same time, Australians are serious. They take their job seriously. And I think it's also important. They take their word seriously. So what we're going to do, we get on and we do it. We don't just fluff about and waste people's time. And that's why it's a reliable country. You don't have to worry about these maybe more relaxed places where we'll get it done tomorrow. Here, no, if it needs fixing, it gets done now.
And they might pat you on the back and call you mate and be very friendly.
Yeah.
And you seem to have a very good relationship, but don't take that to mean that they won't negotiate hard.
Yeah.
Be very focused on what's in a contract or in the business relationship, even though the external appearance is quite casual.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Anything else? So casual but serious would be the thing, and true to their word. On point. Very welcoming, laid back, make you feel good, make you feel very welcome, but serious when they want to get things done.
Yeah, and I think not in want short engagements that are focused. So not
long drawn out
spending
things.
3 hours talking about something, and it'll be short, sharp, focused. I think is important.
So that's something to consider as well, because maybe people might think like, well, it's a bit rude. They pushed me out of the meeting, but it's not because we're being rude. It's like we just don't want to feel like we're wasting our time.
Yeah, and I think when they're happy and it's done. It's done. We've agreed. Let's do this.
Let's move on to the next thing.
Good, thank you. That was awesome. Out the door. So I think you get that focus, and I think there's different cultures that have different approaches to that. So some cultures want to have a meal and the business is done at the end of the meal or just before the meal. But, some spend a lot more time talking about personal things, which I think Australians are open to share some personal things, like I love bike riding or I play the guitar.
Yeah, the small talk's important, but it's not like a massive part of the meeting.
No. Whereas some cultures, I think that is a really important part of the start of the relationship, is spending a long time talking about that. I think in Australia that's less important.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, I think we've covered the top three things. I think we've given people a bit of an idea. Just remember, it's important to make sure you understand the rules and regulations of the country, that you don't just come here thinking it's going to be easy, because it's not. There's lots of process to follow. You need to have your visas in place. If you're going to be importing products, that all needs to be sorted out long in advance. Remember that we are very welcoming, but we're also very on point, fast moving, want to get very can-do, get things done. We have this expression as well, work hard, play hard. I love that because I think it sums up life perfectly. We are renowned for being wild party people. We love to have parties and have a big party, but at the same time, when it's time to work, we just get on with it, get down and do your work, and not waste anyone's time.
And don't mistake casualness for not being serious.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. What else? And that's about it, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I've covered a few points.
That's a bit of a flavour.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, or you want to comment, or if you would like to clarify anything, then drop us. You just comment here, and you can comment on the website of the Art of Business English.
Yeah, or if you've got any other thoughts about you've done business in Australia, and you've got some thoughts about
if you've got any questions,
what was important in your engagement.
Yeah, drop us a line. If you wanted to. If you're interested in moving to Australia, or if you're interested in setting up a business in Australia, then send me an email. I can point you in the right direction. And I hope you're having a fantastic start to the new decade. It is always a pleasure having my listeners here and helping you guys out. And I hope you find or have found this interview with my brother-in-law useful. And have a great start to the year. Jamie, anything before we go?
Oh, just Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
See ya.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Bye.